Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going? Vladimir Donis here. So, hey, today I'm coming to you with day 2 of my 30-day video challenge. So my goal is to publish videos via this challenge for 30 days. So that's what I'm aiming at. And today is day 2 inside of the challenge. And the thing that I want to talk about today is I want to talk about my first business and why I chose it. Because you see, there's so many different things that we can be doing via our journey. There's so many different jobs that we could be doing. There's so many different businesses that we could be doing. And I'm always intrigued and I'm always interested in knowing, why did an individual choose the type of business that they chose, which is why I'm going to go ahead and share with you why I chose the business that I chose. But let me kind of just step back a little bit and talk to you about, just kind of close the gap from my last video and kind of just closing the gap from video number 1. Video number 1 talked about the fact that my family, my mom, to be more specific, migrated here from Haiti. We had very humble beginnings, and we lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with 7 other people. And from a resource standpoint, my mom didn't have a lot of resource. So I knew that for me, I didn't want to repeat that cycle, and I wanted to take advantage of some of the things that are made available to us here in the United States. And I remember my mom saying to me that I need to work hard and I need to go to school and I need to do and I need to take advantage of the resources that are made available to me here in the United States. And I did that. I went to school. I worked, very hard. I worked my way up to an executive level position. At the time that I became an executive, I only had an associate's degree. So I worked very hard to attain, that goal and to reach what I call a milestone, because it wasn't easy at all, right? I started off in my industry when I worked as an executive as a secretary for that industry, and I worked my way up to an executive level position. And I did that, my last role, I did that role for about 12 years. But 5 years into that role, though, I said to myself, you know what, I don't see myself doing this job, forever. The job was an amazing job. They treated me well and they paid me well as well. But for whatever reason, I just knew that there was a lot more in me, and there was other things that I could accomplish with my life. So when I said that, the first question that I said to myself, okay, if I don't continue down that path, what am I going to do next? And what I said to myself at that time, this was about, 7 years ago, give or take, I said to myself, I want to go into entrepreneurship. Now, that's pretty vague and that's pretty broad, because there's a million things that you can do as an entrepreneur. So then the second question I had to ask myself is, okay, what type of business am I going to go into? And at that time, again, this was about 7 years ago, I said to myself, I want to go into a business that's evergreen and a business that's going to be around for a very long time. And the business model at that time that made sense to me was the dating industry. I said to myself, you know what? Dating is going to be around for a very long time. I looked at some of the other big online dating companies. They seem to be doing pretty well based on the reports and based on everything that I read. So I said, you know what? That is the business model that I'm going to go to. That's the business I'm going to use. That's the vehicle I'm going to use to jump into entrepreneurship. So what I decided to do, I decided to hire a programmer to build me a dating/a dancing type of a website. I paid the guy close to $30,000, and this person did an amazing job to build me a dating/a dancing type of website. About a year and a half from the time that I paid this individual, I launched the site. And when I launched the site, to my surprise, I had a hard time getting members, and I had a hard time, growing it. And keep in mind, I paid close to $30,000 for this project. So I wasn't going to just say, oh, well, this doesn't work out, let me just move on. So I went to work. I went to work to learn how to do lead generation, to learn how to do marketing, Facebook ads, etc., because I wanted this project to be viable. I wasn't going to just say, oh, well, $30,000 down the drain, this doesn't work out, let me just move on. I had a lot of skin in the game, right? And there was a lot at stake. So because there was a lot at stake, I went to work to learn how to do lead generation, marketing, etc., just so I can go ahead and grow this business. And about 7 months into that journey, into me learning and implementing, the business started to pick up and things started to grow. But unfortunately, I learned that I was in violation of copywriting laws, and to avoid legal ramifications, I had to shut down the entire site. The members of that website had the ability to upload content such as music and dance, etc. And because I don't have right to any of that content, and to avoid being sued, I had to shut down the entire site because I didn't have right to any of that content. So then when I shut that site, I was pretty bummed because by this time I spent a lot of money, I spent a lot of resources, on this specific platform. So I was pretty bummed by it. But I said to myself, you know what else is next? What's the next chapter, for me? I had learned, some things from a lead generation and from a marketing standpoint. So what I decided to do at that point is I decided to start, teaching what I had learned from a lead generation and a marketing standpoint. And I started to do that for a couple of reasons. Reason number one, I said to myself, there's probably other individuals, other businesses, other entrepreneurs that desire to learn how to do some of the things that I had learned. So I simply started a meetup, and I started hosting workshops in my local area to see if people were interested in that topic, the thing that I had learned in terms of, trying to grow my dating website. That was thing number one. And then the other thing is I said, let me validate some of the things that I had learned. So in order to validate that, I did a couple of things. I started hosting these workshops, and what I noticed is that topic, lead generation, marketing, etc., that's a topic that other entrepreneurs were interested in. So that was the first thing I needed to validate. The second thing I needed to validate my concept, right? Because here it is, I had learned how to do this thing for my dating/my dancing type of a website, but I didn't know how that was applicable to other businesses. So I spent about 2 years and did close to 60 workshops. And in those workshops, I had people come and I was validating my concept, and I was trying to get proof of concept. And within that time frame, I started to feel a lot more comfortable with my framework, and I validated my concept. And after I validated my concept and felt comfortable with my framework, I decided to leave my job and go into entrepreneurship, full time. So that's what led me to do what it is that I do today. Lead generation, marketing, Facebook ads, etc. I had to learn that when I launched my dating site. And as a result of me no longer having a dating site, I started to do that a lot more, teaching it, coaching it, so on and so forth. So that's my journey up until the point that I'm at, today. So again, this is day number 2 inside of a 30-day video challenge. I wanted to come on and just share with you, my story from the point of me transitioning here to the States and me launching my first business, and why I launched my first business, why I launched that model, and some of the things that I learned, right? And I continue to learn. I continue to learn lead generation. I continue to learn marketing. That's the domain. That's the area that I continue to study, but that's how I got started. If you happen to be catching this live, do me a favor and hit pound live. And if you happen to be catching this via the replay, do me a favor and hit pound replay. Again, this is Vladimir coming to you with day 2 of day 30, a 30-day video challenge. That's all I have for you now. I'll catch you in the next video.